Day 21 of filming. It's June the 1st, and we're out here today planting trees. Okay, so to show you guys, this is how they come. I've got this down here underneath some trees and some alders that are here right around it, just to keep it shaded a little bit. You have to be very careful with these trees when they come to you, because the roots can dry out very quickly. So it comes in this type of a long cylindrical package. You have to cut the different ties off of it and open it up without damaging your tree itself. And then down here in the roots is the hardest part. When we fold this plastic back, you can see there's sawdust in there, and there's the bare root. That's what can't stay out at all in the air or the sunshine. You don't want that to dry out and wilt, or it can be very bad for your tree. So we're going to take this out of this package now. It's the last one of 3 that we have to plant, and we'll show you how that goes. Okay, so I have to be fast here. This is the hole I've dug. It's quite a bit around, and it's a lot deeper than what it looks at the moment because I backfilled it a lot, but the soil's been loosened. I've got to take these roots now and spread these out as best I can, and then start filling soil in down around them. So I can't waste any time here with the camera. I'll have to put you on pause until I at least get a bit of dirt in around these roots. Okay, so my tree's looking pretty straight up and down, and I've got most of the roots covered. This is just the last little bit here that I need to do. And I'm just going to rake some dirt in around these. I've still got a lot of roots and debris in this pile that I dug up here. So there, once those are covered, I've got to, I can put the camera down and talk a little bit more. Okay, I can relax a little bit there, guys. Sorry I'm rushed today because, like I say, these roots can't be out and exposed for very long. I've got my camera over there tied to a small fir tree. I don't have my cameraman today, and he's probably happy about that. These mosquitoes are just terrible today. They're even getting in up underneath my fly net in my face here, and I've got bites all over my ears and my cheeks. I'm going to look like a pimple-faced 15-year-old here again, all over again, by the time this day's out. Anyways, I'm just at the stage now where I'm going to finish putting all this dirt back into the hole. I was able to spread the roots out nicely down in there and gently put the soil back in around them. And then I only want to bury these up to, well, below where the graft mark would be if these were a grafted tree. And just above where the roots have come up and met the stem of the tree. So I don't want to go too deep. Basically just up above those roots I ensured was level with the ground here that we're on. Now, once I get this backfilled, I'll take a moment to tamp it down to try to get all the air spaces and things out of this. And then we're going to have to water. We need about 20 liters of water per tree to start with, and I like to put down some leaves on top of this just to help with how that water filters down through into the soil, that it doesn't wash it out really bad. And it also will keep that moisture in because, again, we're in a really dry time of the year right now. And still no rain today, although it's an overcast day and it's not all that hot. That really brings out the flies, and we're still not getting the rain that we need. So there, I've got my hole filled in, and now I'll just go around and lightly tamp all this dirt down. And I noticed in my last hole that I had here and filled in that I didn't have quite enough dirt to fill back into the hole as what was there originally, I guess. So I may need to get a little bit of extra dirt in order to put in this hole. Now, the dirt that came out of this hole is the same dirt that I'm putting back in here. I don't want to put in anything extra because this is already a pretty heavy soil. and I don't want to have anything in there that would cause water to come in and really pool in that hole and drown out my tree roots. I also don't want to burn the tree roots. So it's been recommended that you don't put manure and things like that in the hole necessarily, but whatever I put on the top of this will probably just be a decent potting soil or something like that to fill this hole back in whenever I can get that bag of dirt over here. And otherwise I'm just going to scrape up as much of this dirt as I can. So there's still a little bit more I can use here. And then we'll start watering. It feels like the dirt's well enough, compacted well enough in there. Now, not only do I have to do this today, but on the last video I was talking about my irrigation, and today I have yet to go over and water the potato garden and Jerusalem artichoke. But I think I'm going to be, I've already moved 50 liters of water up today. I think it's going to be at least another 250 today, and I did 100 last night. So that's 400 liters in just basically one day to, you know, give these a good watering. That means I'm going to end up moving thousands of liters of water this summer to make this project work, and that's not an easy chore with a wheelbarrow with a flat tire to boot here today. I tried pumping it up once with my pump, and by the time I loaded it with water down at the river and started moving again, the thing was flat. So the wheelbarrow's not working out very well either today, and I've got a long, difficult day out here in the flies in front of me, but I still love it more than my day job. Okay, so I got my leaves here. I'm going to put these all around the tree, but you're supposed to make a bit of a donut shape and keep them off of the bottom of the stem here. I'm assuming for rot purposes. I think I'm inhaling flies. Anyways, I'll spread these out and then I'll continue putting water on here. And I guess I can turn that off for a minute. This is going to be pretty boring to watch. Okay, so the video is getting pretty long here. I won't talk much longer. Just to take you on a little tour, here's the first pear tree that we planted today. This is a Larinskaya pear from Hardy Fruit Tree Nursery. We come over here about 12 feet away, I'm going to say. We have a patent pear tree that we've planted right here this morning. So first one's over here, then we have this one, and then going back this direction, we have our 3 apple trees in a row. 1, 2, and the third one that we planted is over here. So the reason they're spaced out this way, I wanted them actually fairly close together, the apple trees. This is a Minnesota 447 apple. Now the spacing again, as these grow up, it's probably a good idea that they grow pretty tight together. It helps shade the ground around and retain moisture at the base of trees. And apparently they actually flower better when apple trees can grow together eventually with their branches that they can touch. We now have 2 different varieties of apple. Lautz apple, which is this guy here, and this was planted with my son last spring, and it's starting to do well. It had a slow season last year getting established, but it seems to be doing very healthy this year along with its partner over there. And now we have this Minnesota 447 apple. Now we did the 3 of them here in a row. That's all the apple tree that would be planted together, and then in front of the apple trees we're going to have the 2 pear trees. And the reason for this is that as this orchard grows and expands outward and we plant more and more plum trees, cherry tree, hazelnut, and apple trees, we're going to try to keep the clumps apart from one another so that your apple trees, if there's a bug like a pest or something that gets into the apple trees over here, it may infect a few of the trees, but in order to get to the next clump of apple trees that we'll have planted, it would have to come through, say, the pear trees and then another few plum trees before it would come to, say, another couple apple trees. So that way you can really cut down on the damage that pests can do in your garden. And it's also going to keep this, I'm hoping, a completely organic orchard. I don't ever want to have to use pesticides, or I guess I just won't. I'll accept a bad harvest if it comes down to it. But these trees will never have anything put on them to try to, help with pests. So that's the idea, is that you end up with more of a diversity of the trees that you plant in order to keep the pests back or whatnot. Now, lastly, I'll just take you over here. Okay, next to the pear tree that we planted right here, we have a companion plant as an alder sitting right here. And this is again how the other part of this garden is, that we have our nitrogen fixing trees like our alder next to the pear tree there. And on the other side of this alder, we have our loutz apple. So all of these trees I'm hoping will work together in order to help one another grow and keep the pests at bay. We'll hope for the best over the next probably 5 to 10 years. I don't expect to really get any fruit off of these for probably a good 5 years. And early on in the first few years, I don't want fruit on them, because if you pick those buds off of the flowers before they make an apple, it'll put that energy back into the apple tree, forming its roots and its stalk. And so I probably will keep any fruit off of them for the first 5 years or so, until they start, until they're at a real good size and vitality, and then let them start to produce fruit for me. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to get out of these flies tonight, but I was up at 6:30 this morning to work from 7 to 3 on my regular day job from home. And then I have to work from here probably from 3 till 9 o'clock tonight. Go home, shower, have a late supper, and repeat again tomorrow. So this has been a lot of work here this summer. But thank you for watching.